Report story. By Shadowed Sword 13. Summary. He looks up, green eyes sparking with glee as a smile splits his face. Miss Uravati. He greets, I hope you didn't mind me paying for your coffee. I know pulling a stakeout on someone like me can be exhausting. Or she knows she's in trouble when the villain she's staking out buys her coffee and has it waiting for her when she walks in. Equals 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 dot. Chapter 1. Down the rabbit hole. Her coffee is waiting on his table, instead of at the pickup counter like she specified. It's something that she picks up as soon as she walks in, but idles at the door, looking to the cashier and then back to his table as dread slowly pools in her stomach. Get it? Eraserhead's voice is steady and sure in her ear, but that doesn't help the feeling that their cover is blown. She ambles towards him, letting her eyebrows knit together in confusion as she slides up to the table, one hand reaching for her drink while the other drifts back, ready to pull out a support item. He looks up, green eyes sparking with glee as a smile splits his face. Miss Uravati. He greets, I hope you didn't mind me paying for your coffee. I know pulling a stakeout on someone like me can be exhausting. She freezes, words caught in her throat, hands frozen in the air as the rabbit looks back down at his laptop, fingers quickly typing out something else as he works. Then he jerks, grin returning as he fumbles with his bag. Oh, since you were here, and I already have Eraserhead's autograph, I was hoping that I could maybe get yours too. He fumbles with the leather messenger bag, searching through the compartments for some time before coming up with a thick sketchbook. He thrusts it out to her like some sort of fanboy instead of an international villain that manages more money with 4 keystrokes than she'll see in her entire career. Take a seat, Eraserhead reminds her, and she drops into the seat in front of the rabbit near Boneless. He slides the book across the table to her, along with a quill pen and her ordered coffee. Put him off. Why do you think you're being watched by us? She asks, tentatively picking up the book and paging through it. There are dozens of sketches, the book mostly filled. She recognizes almost all of them, but there are only a handful that have signatures or autographs next to the rabbit's signature at the bottom. Red Riot, Froppy, Pinky and Cellophane are among the ones that have signatures, and she knows for a fact they've all had close contact with the rabbit, either by coincidence or by stakeout like her. Her page is in the back, a short list of notes beside a sketch of her both in and out of costume. She purses her lips, reading through them as he types. He's made note of her coffee order, along with what looks to be her normal mannerisms. Do I really clasp my hands together that much? The thought drifts out before she catches herself, and she slaps the notebook down and glares at him. He doesn't look up from the laptop screen, and she can see the reflection of an email in the green orbs. Not as much as when you first started. He replies. I think it's a nervous tic, like right now. She flinches, taking her hands out from under the table and putting them flat on the table. He finishes typing, lips moving as he reads over the email, then taps twice. He shuts the laptop, putting it away in his bag before looking over at the open notebook. Promoted stories. You'll also like. Zero Deku Onishots 31.5k 798 because of circumstances, this book won't be continued unfortunately. Feel free to check out my other stuff. Thank you for understanding. Izuku's Harem Academia 188k 1.7 Qst. Read. Not all heroes wear capes. Some just have 8.42.8k 1.4 kilo. Everybody. This is a suicidal, depressed Deku book with Dadmic. Will their bond grow? Will Mike fuck up? Will Izuku try to kill himself? Find out yourself. Number 1 radio, after all. Fluke 11.4k 802. Will edit once I'm free. N. This is a work of fiction, and any similarity with other works is purely coincidental. Excuse grammatical errors and misspellings, Eng. Hurt cuz I love you to death, Izuocha, ha. 0.8.7k 141 Class 1A is now Class 2A and is working to be better heroes due to events that had happened before. Deku has gotten strong feelings toward Uraraka during the summer as feelings. Aizawa. X-Reader 57.2k 1.3k RE posting. This until I edit it, sorry if it's not good, it's my first time writing a story. You enroll at UA and you have multiple quirks you are really good at using, why? Her prince from the underworld half demon is 0.25.9k 450. It's basically the same story as my succubus Momo X Deku story. I know, real original, but hey, now you guys get a Deku from the other side of the tracks. Red curls up his neck, and he opens his mouth and shuts it before turning away. One hand comes up, and she realizes he's wearing a tight pair of gloves, before he curls his fingers through his green hair and picks at his neck. Oh, he purses his lips, looking back down to the floor. I forgot I did some notes there with yours. My coffee order, favorite foods, costume color preference. She asks. I did a better analysis in my real notebook, but, he freezes, then bites his own lip. Right. He swallows and cracks his neck. So, pressure him. Eraser murmurs. The email. Who were you emailing? Contact in Osaka. And another one in the States. He explains. There are certain shipments and businesses that I don't tolerate, and make a point to increase awareness of. Such as human trafficking, underage drugs distribution. He replies, I do try to tip you heroes off to those activities. He purses his lips. Well, the heroes that actually matter, I suppose. Gravity has an inkling of what he means. Red Riot had a few mysterious communications about a local drug operation while visiting the countryside, despite another local hero Bullseye already running an investigation into the ring. Red Riot wrapped the investigation up with the relayed information, resulting in a quick bust and an easy conviction for all involved parties. Why help us? He smiles. It's good business. Why help only a select number of heroes? She furthers. His eyes narrow, then he hums, reaching down and grabbing his bag. Walk with me, he instructs, slinging the leather bag over his shoulder and getting up. He doesn't wait for her, but she follows him out and down the street. The autumn weather is coming in full force, and she tugs at the sleeves of her shirt, wishing she'd worn a thicker sweater to stave off the cold. Eraserhead should be able to keep up, right? Rabbit asks, glancing around before settling his gaze on one window, narrowing his eyes before smiling. Apartment B2 across the street has been vacant for about 3 weeks. I suspect he already knows the light in the bathroom is buggy. We replaced the light bulb 2 days in. She informs. Since you seem to know who's all on this stakeout, why bother sitting in that coffee shop? He glanced back at her. Well, I wanted to meet one of my favorite heroes, of course. He's flirting. Eraserhead growls. I am. Rabbit assures, and she freezes. How long have you had our comms? Since the day you scrambled up the channels. He scratches one of his ears, then pulls out an earwig of his own. Though I have to admit, I don't appreciate you calling my hair broccoli-shaped. Now it's her turn to blush, and she can feel the heat rush through her cheeks even as she tries to stifle it. Pull out, we've been compromised. Eraserhead snarls, and in the background, she can hear him furiously packing up all the equipment they've been using. Please don't. I was going to treat you to lunch. He looks genuinely off-put, a frown tugging at the corners of his lips as he adjusts the straps on his bag. And I still need to get your autograph. She takes a step back, swallowing the fear climbing up her throat. One step turns into 2, and then she's racing down the sidewalk, her quirk churning her stomach as she launches herself up into the air. You know you look like an angel when you do that. His voice chimes through their comm just before she pulls the earwig out. Chapter 2. She doesn't see him for 2 weeks. Can't actually, because she's been taken off the mission of following him around. It's a covert mission, and while Eraserhead had been happy to have her, too close of contact with him left the operation vulnerable. Which is fine with her. It means she and Sue can get back to their previous case, a drug operation in the downtown warehouse districts, running right out of the port. Unfortunately, there's a stakeout involved there too. Unfortunate because that leaves her sitting on the edge of a rooftop, binoculars in her hands as she peers over the various shipping containers to inspect the buildings in the evening sun. You do know they operate out of the containers, not the warehouses, right? She freezes, shock tingling up her spine as fear trickles down it ever so slowly. She lowers the equipment, glancing behind her to find him. He's dressed differently, no more smooth pristine collar shifts and dress slacks. He's exchanged that for a bodysuit not unlike her own, a dark green color, and a mask and collar combination that leaves the image of a green rabbit with a wide metal-toothed grin. He blinks, and the eyes shift, glass shuttering to mimic the effect. "Why are you here?" she demands, easing the binoculars down to put a hand on her distress beacon. "Pinky should be in the area tonight. She could get here in 10, maybe 12 minutes. Sue was on the other side of the shipyard, so that was less. Maybe 4. I came to see my favorite pro hero." He cocks his head, then extends 2 brown paper takeout bags to her. "I was in the mood for a burger, but I wasn't sure if you were, so I got soba as a backup." He hesitates, still standing on the other side of the container, a good 6 or 7 feet away. Soba's in the left. She clicks her beacon, then turns, taking 1 step, then 2 closer. "Where have you been?" He doesn't move or react, and the metal guard around his jaw hides any emotion his mask might have betrayed. She takes the soba bag from him before taking a step back. "Osaka," he replies readily. "There was a specific gang operation going on that I refused to allow continue." He hums softly, glancing over at the shipping containers in the distance. "This operation is another." She notes that information for later. The group her and Sue were after marketed most drugs, but they weren't 1% sure where it was all distributed. It seemed the rabbit did. She unpacked her soba, humming softly at the warmth coming from the box. He even included chopsticks. "Thoughtful. You leaked the information to us." She concludes, popping open the container as she followed his gaze. The containers were closer than the warehouse, and she didn't need the binoculars to see them. "I do like to help stop certain activities," he replies, moving to squat beside her. She could hear him rummaging through his bag, then the crinkling off a plastic wrapper before he settled. "Yet you keep other activities hidden from us, rabbit," she accuses. He pauses at that, then hums again, and she doesn't have to turn to know he's smiling. "There are certain things I don't like, but allow," he says. "And there are certain things you heroes can't do that I can. You know it as well as I do how crime has changed in the last decade." He's right, and it makes her uncomfortable to admit. Open street crime had dropped, fewer pickpockets and random muggings. Less rape, underage drug distribution and kidnapping, but that was countered by an increase in more organized crime. Smuggling illegal goods was at an all-time high, with favorite exports and imports being weapons, black market organs, and a few other things. "So, you swapped petty theft for smuggling and the Yakuza. As much as you don't like them, the mafias keep to themselves as long as you let them. They don't deal to kids, they don't plan massive overthrows of government or hero assassinations. They smuggle, they deal to adults, and they like to flaunt money." He shoots back. She growls and glares at him, but the squealing of tires and the slap of his boots on the floor prevent her. He's leaping off the container, and the reason why is obvious as a motorcycle peels out of the containers, hidden away somewhere. Rabbit is bounding over top of the containers, strides even and measured as he moves, landing on the top of a container as the motorcycle speed below him. His attention isn't there, he's going for the container it came out of, which leaves her with the bike. "Damn," she hisses out the curse, then slaps her own hands on herself, taking away her gravity and leaping off the container. She triggers her boosters, rocketing down into the corridor of shipping containers to meet the bike in the middle. She does, crashing into the side of it as it whips around the corner. She wraps the driver up, his gravity disappearing and her momentum carrying them a few more moments before she drops them both to the ground. The driver isn't feeling up to moving though, groaning and rolling away on the ground. She pins him, handcuffs clipping on before she's tapping her headset. Sue, I got a perp on a bike in the containers. Rabbit is here. I repeat, Rabbit is here. He's engaging the original container the bike came out of. Already on my way, Ribbit. Careful, Froppy. Rabbit's voice chimes through the comms. A lot of these, there is a crackling sound, then a yelp of pain. Have a fire quirk, a ping then, so be careful with your tongue and surfaces. Thanks, Rabbit Ribbit. Sue replied, either unfazed or uncaring that Rabbit had once again stolen their comm link. Uraraka doesn't really have time to ponder it. She has to catch up again. She uses her quirk on herself, ignoring the stomach churn as she activates her boosters, forcing her to rise above the crates and shoot back towards where Rabbit had disappeared. She has to make it in time. She has to catch him. She has to get it. He's here. That means he knew. And if he knew, she can detain him. And if she can detain him, that means her and Sue can finally get the accreditation they deserve after opening up their own hero agency. That thought dies as she throws open the container door. The inside is clinical, but trashed. Crates of white powder torn open, the contents checked but not disturbed. Body after body lies on the floor, bleeding and broken but wheezing one steady breath after the other as she steps in. It's cramped and tight and the door in the back is closed, but that doesn't stop the sounds coming out of it. The sharp crack of bone breaking, and the muffled scream of pain. She swallows. Is that Rabbit? Is he getting tortured? She creeps towards it, hand drifting up to activate her comm. Sue, she whispers. Called in backup. Pinky will be here in 10. I'm almost there. In the container. Definitely a shipment of coke. Back door closed. No sign of Rabbit. Something happening in the back. I'm engaging. She curls her fingers around the door handle. There's a moment of her soft, quiet breeze, a blink of fear as she hardens her resolve into steel. Then she throws it open and charges it. Offense is not required. Defense is the metal pole cracks across her forearms as she blocks the strike, and she winced, stumbling back to gauge her opponent. Only to find the pole has retracted, and green eyes and black gloved hands are reached out, fear and concern in them as Rabbit steps forward. He's bloodied, and the silvery pole at his side bears the brunt of it, a thin sheen of red on it that looks to have saved most of his green costume. He swallows, the sound audible in the confines of the container. You scared me, he murmurs. I'm sorry. He hesitates, then shifts, putting his body in front of her to block her line of sight. You don't need to see this. He adds softly. She shoves him, and he backpedals, giving ground easily, until finally she shoves him to the side. He didn't fight her, didn't stop. And she wants to know why he deterred her with words and not force. But that thought has to wait as another forces itself to the forefront. She wants to puke. The soba in her stomach feels sour and poisonous. She looks at him, then the broken battered body strapped to the chair. You did this, she hisses, unable to tear her eyes off the bone-breaking skin. It was a person once. Mutant quirk, a third and fourth arm growing out under the normal pair. The joints are snapped in the wrong directions, fingers purple and swollen already. There's blood on the floor, a dozen white chips mixed in teeth. She reasons. Uraraka turns back to him. I didn't want to, he whispers. But some days I don't get to work for myself. He glanced behind him, then back to her. I'm sorry. And he's running, out the door before she can chase him, before she can slap his wrist and steal his gravity. Before she can even understand what he just said, and that he might have just apologized to her for his deeds. Something she's not quite sure he's ever done to anyone. Much less a hero. Where stories live. Discover now.
Apa naman yung